Yo, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Gallo, and on this video I'm going to be doing a little bit of like a discussion video on what they could do for Zenless Zone Zero to improve the replayability of this game. And as someone who also plays Chaos Zero Nightmare, I think people who play both will understand where I'm coming from. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So what do I mean by replayability? In my opinion, Zenless Zone Zero does not exactly have a lot of replay value. Like, you pretty much, like, once you're caught up, obviously your main thing is pretty much dailies. You burn your stamina, and then every single week or bi-weekly you do your roguelike mode, and then you do your end games. That's pretty much the gameplay loop of Zenless. Once you've caught up with the story, once you're done with the events, once you're done with every single side mission and stuff, that's essentially the gameplay loop. And for me, this game has so much potential to be so much more than what it is currently, and I want to talk about that. So the first thing that I think they could add, and this one is going to be very heavily inspired by Chaos Zero Nightmare, is to make it so that when you go into your Hollow Zero, like, maybe rework it so that it is on a ability system. Like, let's say you can add extra moves, abilities, multipliers, extra effects like poison or something to your current units, and then you can take those into Deadly Assault. You can take them into Shia Defense, and I think that would be a really fun idea. Like, essentially you would be retroactively buffing these characters the way you want to play them in the end game. And this obviously would work if they don't continue to increase the HP of the mobs, but this is kind of just like a fun idea that I think this game could improve upon. Like, let's say your favorite character is Billy, but right now Billy is not exactly in the best spot. I believe if you were to check Pride Win, Billy is probably the lowest tier DPS in the game, or one of the lowest tier DPS in the game. But like, he's one of the like core members of like the Cunning Hares, and so like it's a shame that you can't exactly use him. So what could you do if this roguelike mode was implemented? Well, in the roguelike mode, you can make it longer, you can make it more advanced, more intricate, but give us a reason to keep running that, because that would give us a reason to build up these characters. Maybe make it so there's a chance that your build or loadout doesn't exactly save, kind of like Chaos Zero Nightmare, but then obviously you drop a guide or something on how to like deck out your characters. You can infinitely scale the roguelike mode to get extra, more powerful abilities and stuff for your characters, but essentially that would make it so that almost every single person's Billy or something plays completely different from the other. And I think that's what's missing from this game, playability wise or replayability wise. And that would make it so that it would just make it so that the devs don't have to rework every single character. They just keep adding to the roguelike mode. Oh guys, we added new Billy abilities this update, or we added new abilities for Dailin or Yishuan or Piper or something in that roguelike mode. You guys can go in and try them out, and that gives you an incentive to go try in and get another whole loadout. And maybe you can have a tab here like loadouts or something, or like a deck or something along the lines of that. But like, you can customize the character the way you want it to. Like, let's just say hypothetically, if there was, a build or something for Billy that you can make him a single target nuke. Like, let's say all of his AoE abilities are all focused now on single target stuff, so he becomes like a kind of like a sniper or something, and he gets just insane single target damage, and that's how you build your Billy. And that could be completely different from someone who built Billy to be an insane AoE DPS, who has insane like wave clearing ability and stuff. That is something that you could do. Or like, let's say you put Lucia. Maybe you want to build her as your main DPS. Maybe you want to build a main DPS Lucia or an Astrael. In the roguelike mode, you can go in, get your abilities, and like, it would create so much diversity as far as these kits go, to try like it makes you want to pull more characters to try them out. And that, I think, would make this game so much better. Because right now, when you get caught up, like right now I have a lot to do. Like, if I go to my quest tab, I'm still on chapter 2 of the new season because this is a new account. I have so many side quests and stuff to do, but once I get caught up, the gameplay loop is going to be kind of boring. It's going to be going in, logging on, doing your dailies, burn your stamina, and every single week or bi-weekly you do your endgame mode, and that's it. You call it a day. And I think adding this extra element would not only make it so that some people wouldn't feel the HP inflation issue as much, but also just give you a reason to try out new characters and stuff. And for people who have already reached endgame and have gotten their full characters built and they can do endgame just fine, this will make it so that you guys can try out new builds and stuff. Like maybe in the mode it gives Yishuan a whole new ability or something instead of revolving around her whole space thing and like the ball. Like maybe you can make it so that she has a pure parry playstyle, like your energy bar regenerates faster, you get your parry more often or something along the lines of that. Like you can create so many different types of playstyles for these characters. It would create new rotations, it would create new playstyles, new teams and stuff too. So this is just like an idea that I have that obviously it's very heavily inspired by Chaos Zero Nightmare, but like I love Zenless's combat so much, and I think there's so much potential that you guys could do with this particular game. And so that's, you know, I thought I'd just throw that out there. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video. Again, this like idea has a lot of, you know, things to adjust about the game. Obviously, if you make the builds too crazy, the end game becomes pretty trivial, and it kind of defeats the whole point of making every single character have their own playstyle. But that's like, to me, how you would buff up some characters in, you know, ways where you don't have to make it so specific. You can just add in extra stuff into the chaos mode or into the roguelike mode, sorry, and that would just give incentive to people, like, for people to try and build some of their like lower tier DPS. Like, people are always playing what is the strongest, like everyone's going to play their Yishuan, their Miyabis and stuff. But like some of the characters like Billy or something, or let's say you want to build main DPS Qingyi, like allow players to have that flexibility and stuff. That would open up so many new team comps. You could maybe run a triple stunner comp or something like that. It would go crazy. And that's just the kind of things that I think this game needs. Like right now, what do you play Zenless Zone Zero for? In my opinion, one, for story, I love the story in this game. For two, I love the animations and fluidity and how cool and like fluid these characters feel. I think I said fluid twice. But anyways, I like how these characters feel to play. And sometimes I just want to play with some of them, you know what I mean? Like, what if I want to make a main DPS Kaleda? Like, I want the ability to be able to do that. I want to be able to make Billy work as well as Miyabi if I get him well built enough with like that roguelike mode. And I think that would be such a cool dynamic to this game. Maybe you're a really big fan of Lighter, but you want to play him as the main DPS, but you can't. But because, like, let's say they do add this system and you can make your Lighter a main DPS, you can maybe make it so that like there are cards that adjust their, let's say like characters' main damage like output is on their energy. Maybe you may build a bunch of energy regen cards and stuff in that mode to be able to make your build work. It would allow and give so much creativity for the community to be able to have something like that in the game, and that's why I'm suggesting it in the first place. If it makes the end game trivial, just add extra end game modes and stuff. The end game in this game doesn't exactly have to be just shield defense, deadly assault and stuff like that. The end game could be just building up your roster to have insanely cool play styles for every single one. Maybe your favorite character is Anton, and Anton isn't up to snuff with all of the current DPS, or Seth or Sukaku. Maybe some people really like Sukaku and they want to make a main DPS Sukaku. Let players have the flexibility to be able to do that in your game, and you will have a whole new fan base. And I promise you, bro, with Chaos Zero Nightmare being as popular as it is, imagine if a game of Hoyo's polish, and it's an action game, have that level of like build diversity and depth to each of their characters. This game would find its identity as like that, basically an action version of Chaos Zero Nightmare, and I think that's what this game kind of needs. Again, I could be wrong, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are on my idea for this game in the comments section. I'm very curious to see what you guys think about my idea. I'm just a big fan. Obviously, I played both of those games, so I'm a little bit biased. But again, I think it would bring a lot of replayability to this game, give people the reason to build up some of the characters you guys just haven't used in years. Like, let's say you want to use Nekomata or Ellen or Caesar as a main DPS or like a support or something. You can do that. And that, I think, is just the wonderful thing about this, like games like Chaos Zero Nightmare, is that you're able to play characters that you like the way you want to play them. And I would absolutely love if Zenless Zone Zero did something like that in the future. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.